Hello and welcome back to the Linux Panic YouTube channel. This is video 4 in my Linux from scratch SystemD 11.3. Last time we left off, we had just finished compiling cross-compiling the temporary tools, and now we're going to be entering into the Chroot environment so we can then actually enter into the operating system that we are going to be making and actually starting to build up what is the basis of our operating system. So, first things first, we get an introduction. This is saying, until section 7.4, all commands must be run as root. So, exit. We're now back as root. We need to echo LFS. That's still working. Bearing in mind, we need this here to say mount LFS. Now that we've done that, let's just, for the sake of sanity, make this just a tad bit larger. All commands must be run as root with LFS variable set. All commands are run as root, fortunately without access to the OS of the computer you built LFS on. But anyway, changing ownership. So all we have to do to address the issue, so basically we've just been messing around with a load of files. They are owned by the LFS user. Because we no longer need the LFS user, we now need to put that back to the root. And to do that, it's just as simple as copy this, change ownership recursively to root for everything there, and just, yeah. That we never change back, so we can do cd sources, and then lsli, and that should show up as root. Root, it shows up as root everywhere, which is what we want. Now, next thing is we need to prepare the virtual kernel file systems. This is preparing us to mount a virtual file system. It's not going to take up any space. It's just saying, hey, look, I exist as an identifier. It's pretending to be an operating system without the actual virtualization. But also remember, everything in Linux is a file, even a folder and a file system. It's all just a file. Everything in Linux is a file. Don't worry about it. Anyway, we need to create some directories. In this case, dev process and run. Dev process and run. Yep. So that is what we want. These file systems must be mounted in the LFS directory tree. So that's fine. So if we were to do clear lsli and pwd, we're in the right place, which is what we want. Now we need to mount verbose bind those to that. /dev has been mounted to lfs dev, which is what we want. We now need to, now mounting the remaining virtual file systems, just copy this, paste this in. As we can see, dev, proc, sys, and temp. As we can see here, proc, sys, well, we've already mounted dev, and proc, sys, and temp have all been mounted. Proc, sys, and temp, that is good. And of course, bind, dev, pts, that's all been mounted. Very good, off to the races. Some systems, dev shm was symbolic link. This is just to prevent any issues from arising. Problem solved. And now this is a point where we enter the root, the Chroot environment. So this is us trying to pretend. This is us actually entering into the file system that we will be working out of once we've finished building the operating system. But for the current moment in time, it's just pretending that everything's there as is. It's just going, I exist on a shoestring. So copy this and just enter, and this now says, I have no name, help me. This is what we expected. The reason why it goes, I have no name, help me, is because there's no passwords, there's no users, and there's no groups. This is what we're now about to create. Without a user, it can't identify itself. Without a group, it doesn't know where things belong. And without passwords, it can't log in. So we need all these three. These three are standard files that we get on any Linux operating system. So, first things first, we need to also create some directories. Some root level directories. Some of these have already been done, but it's just good practice to do it anyway. to do it again. So boot, home, mount, opt and serve, boot, home, mount, opt and serve have been created, and some require subdirectories. So this again is just going through the process of creating the directories that should be there regardless on a regular Linux operating system, but aren't there yet because we need to put them there. So again, it's just as simple as copying. If you were to just look at your operating system now, if you're using Linux, you would find etc, lib, media, user local, and all. You'd find all this stuff, but it's not here yet because we've not created it. Now we have. That's a lot of files. That's technically speaking, saying that's a lot of files is actually correct, because again, remember, all folders on Linux are files. Copy this, whack that in, make the links. var run is now run, and var lock is now just run lock. And of course, we now need to do that. Just change some of the permissions around. So some of these, by standard, are created with 750 instead of 1777. The 1 makes it sticky, and just 777 is anyone can edit it, anyone can add to it, but only the owner can remove from it. So 1 is sticky, 777 is just off to the races. Any changes, that's the one thing you don't want to make for. That's the one thing you don't want to set for example, if you're running a web server, you wouldn't want to make the source file for the website a 777 because that's just asking for trouble. Anyway, the FH file hierarchy system standard. FHS does not mandate the existence of the directory user lib64. The LFS editors have decided not to use it. For instructions in LFS and BLFS to work correctly, it is imperative that this directory be non-existent. From time to time, you should verify that it does not exist, because it is easy to create it inadvertently, and this will probably break your system. Listen to the book. The book knows what it's talking about. Anyway, we now need to create an M tab. This is just saying, hey, look, mount things properly. Let's just start. Do this. Do that. M tab is now proc self and mounts. Just that sorts out basic host files that's needed for test suite, as well as a configuration file for Perl. So just an absolute bare bones host file. It's no worry. And in order for Root to be able to log in and to be recognized, we need to add a passwords file. Again, we can do that with this. It's just a standard password file you'd find on most Linux operating systems. Clear that, because that was a lot. And the actual password for Root will be set later. Of course, it'll get us to set that later on, probably around about chapter 10 if I remember correctly. Actual password, and then set the etc group file by running the following command. This is the groups file. Now, what we would expect will be there. Don't worry about that, it's just because I have the terminal shrunk down, like it zoomed in. It like overlapped and goes, I don't know how to deal with this. That's fine, don't worry about it. So we now need to create a tester user that's required for running the tests later on in some of the packages, just to confirm everything's fine and dandy. That's expected, don't worry about it. So again, just whack in the testers, say, hey look, run these. Some tests I need a regular user. That's basically all that is. Add the tester user, and now if we do exec/user/bin/bash -login, we now have gone from I have no name, because it's no user, no group, no passwords, to root, which means users, group, and password. The reason why that didn't update beforehand is because we needed to create a new shell and log into the new shell, and then it goes, I recognise that. And that took us a grand total of 9.5 minutes with my rambling, which is good. Not in total, but to get to this point from in this chapter. It's no bother. Login, Getty, and init programs and others use log files. So this is basically saying these will not work. They will not log to log files if we do not create the log files with the necessary permissions. So create the log files so the software will actually log stuff. and we can find out if there's been any issues, which is what we need. Now that we've done that, we now need to move on to actually compiling the small bits of software that will come with Chapter 7. So it's just get text, Bison, Perl, Python, and text info, util, Linux. Just the basic stuff. So if we do lsla, cd sources, clear the screen, we have get text, which is one standard build unit and allows for native language support. So just, if I had set this to, I don't know, German, it would come up in German properly. This is just the giving of the ability to interpret languages correctly, which is what we want. So, tar-xvf, get text, cd get text, and of course it's configure it. So it's basically saying don't share any of these libraries, don't do it as a .so. .so is a shared object, .lo is a library object. If I remember correctly, don't quote me on that one. Again, just consult your local Oracle, whether it be Google, DuckDuckGo, Swiss Cows, AOL. Swiss Cows it's a search engine, trust me. AOL still does exist. Same for Yahoo, Bing. Don't ask me how I know. But yeah, all of these search engines still exist. Hell, you could even use the Brave browser or Ecosia. Consult your local Oracle for figuring out how to do things. That is not YouTube based. Consult your local Oracle. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, again, it's one of these scenarios where it takes longer to do the configuration than the actual compilation. Is that really surprising? Like, really? Is it really surprising? No, it's not. It's not surprising. So it's just, we get to the scenario of we now have to sit and wait around and wait for things to finish. So we will return once this is finished compiling. So now that we have finished the compilation, that's actually still recording good. Now that we've finished the compilation of the package, finished compiling, now we just need to install the bits of software in the requisite locations. As done so by that, now we just do leave the directory, remove the directory, and move on to the next one. So in this case, it is Bison, which is there as a parser generator. So tar-xvf Bison. And of course, that must mean that I tabbed, but it didn't move because I don't have the sound on, so you don't hear the constant Ubuntu boo 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 every time you hit tab. Well, damn you, Ubuntu. I hit tab. You may have heard it. Or you may have heard it through the microphone, which means there must mean there is a Bison patch file, which we will come across later. Prepare Bison for compilation. Yes, watch it take a literal age, and I will grow to 1,000 years old, waiting for this to finish compiling, and then wither away upon. I will age 1,000 eons just waiting for the compilation instructions to be complete, and then instantly turn into dust as I wait for it to compile. Honestly, you'd think it wouldn't take so long, but it does for some reason. I make -J6. Yes, that is how we all feel on the inside, waiting for this to finish compiling. It is anger-inducing. See, this is why it's worth using your J6 or your J24 in the case of my server. Okay, so now that we've done that, it is as simple as leave the directory, remove the directory, and on to the next one. So in this case, it is Perl 5.36.0. It is just extraction, practical extraction and report language. Again, this is one of these ones that's going to take a literal age. So, tar-xvf Perl. See, there's a lot there. CD Perl. Cry as the compilation instructions take decades to complete. As the world slowly warms up, Unix, the 32-bit Unix clock finally expires and destroys all the computers that were running on it. And everything just crashes and burns, and this still isn't complete. If I were doing this on a Raspberry Pi, it could feasibly take about days to do the entirety, considering the fact. No, I'm not doing it on a Raspberry Pi. Yet. But again, this is just a scenario where we have to sit and wait continually. Just hold. What the? Honestly, it shouldn't take this long for the compiler instruction. Yes, it shouldn't take this long for compiler instructions to finish. There we go. Now that we've done that, it's just a make and an install. So time make J6 minus J6. That'll take less than 20 seconds. Maybe. I'm gonna aim for less than a minute, but between 30 and 60 seconds, that's the window we're aiming for, considering it's only a 0.6 SBU with 6 cores, so it reasonable. Anyway, it shouldn't take a literal age. I say it shouldn't, but it's going to. Oh, yep, this is wunderbar. So, with the next chapter, we now have to go through and compile literally everything else we haven't already compiled. So this is one of those scenarios where it's just a cry your eyes out and wait. Because I don't know what I'm gonna do. Now, all of these packages will just have the obvious. It's just like say what to do with them, so it's just gonna take a very, 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 very long time to see. 1 minute and 37 seconds when it could have taken 6 minutes. I'm not running that test suite. That test suite can go take a very long walk off an extremely short pier. Anyway, make install. But I'm not running that test suite because I know it'll take literal age. I will wither into dust if I did that test suite. But we have to do it later anyway. Right. // leave the directory, remove the directory, and then it's on to the next one, which is Python. So it's just Python 3, 2 packages which start with file. The one to extract is Python with the capital P, so tar-xvf capital Python. CD into capital Python. Feed the configuration instructions, wait for us to wither into dust whilst it takes an age, and then go from there. Some Python 3 modules can't be built now because the dependency is not yet installed. Building system still attempts them, and just some will give a fatal error. Don't worry about it. So we just got wait. It's not even done the compiler instructions yet. It's still there we go. Yeah, see, we're not touching that because it's out the book. The book has just said run them as is, don't apply any optimizations. Because doing that could lead to danger. Anyway, so time, make J6. Hopefully, because it is a 0.4, so last one took around about a minute 30, so estimating minute 5, so 65 to 95 seconds as like the window to make 100% sure that we're gonna get it. Yes, I know, I realise which politician it looked like. Three guesses on which one it is. The first two guesses are invalid. But now it's just a matter of sitting and waiting time and again 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 and again. And my coffee's gone cold. I'm probably gonna go make a new cup of coffee in between like recordings. I got to admit, cold black sugarless coffee is not exactly the greatest taste, but well, yeah, gotta keep the oil burning at both ends somehow. Well, the candle, but lit at both ends somehow. So yeah, drink what you got. See, this is one of the fatal errors we were expecting. But a minute 20 is inside my window, which is good. But now we've made it, it's just make install. Wait for that to finish. It won't take any air time. It's just going whoop, moving the stuff around. Take notes. Takes no time at all. I said takes no time at all. Hopefully. Come on, hurry up. Right, so now we've done that, so we want to leave the directory, remove the correct directory. So rm-r Python, remove the correct one, which we just did, because otherwise I'll cry. We did install. Texinfo is, well, Texinfo, util, Linux, these are like the final package we need. So tar-xvf, Texinfo. Yep. cd Texinfo. Again, configuration instructions. It's just saying, hey, look, contains programs just for interfacing with stuff, really. Just reading, writing, converting info. So just general reading. That's all this one is. So again, it's just a sit and wait and age for this to finish and just start crying so hard because it shouldn't take this. There we go. So time, make J6, fly through, no time at all. Shouldn't take any time at all. I say that, and it's probably going to take an age, and it will be time to cry. There we go, 15 seconds, no time at all. No time at all. So, make install. Come on. There we go. Leave the directory, remove the directory, and util Linux. So it's just miscellaneous utility programs. The FHS recommends the file hierarchy standards. So tar-xvf util Linux, cd util Linux. So the file hierarchy system recommends using var hw clock. So now we're using hw clock per util Linux for compilation. So again, wait, literal age, the Pluto will be considered a planet again by the time this will be done. Pluto is a planet. Computers deserve the right to self-defense. Cheese is just a loaf of milk. Your bread is a shelf for your body when you're not using it. Anyway, now that that's done, it's just a simple time make J6. Wait for this to be done. So yeah, this takes no time at all. No, it shouldn't take any time at all anyway, so it's just readjust that bad boy. Again, it's just sit and wait and cry and go, why did I do this? Why did I decide to waste so much of my free time on this? Well, because I like doing this, and it's always nice to say, hey look, I've made 2 operating systems, not just one. Anyway, 38 seconds. It's knee bother. So it's now just time, make install. Wait for it to run through. Yeah, there are warnings as expected. Be quiet. Silence yourself. Leave the directory. Remove the directory. Make sure it's the correct one. And cleaning up and saving the temporary system. First off, we can remove any unwanted documentation. 35 megabytes. That ain't nothing. But that gigabyte though. Second, on modern Linux systems, the libtool LA files are unuseful for libltdl. No libraries in LFS are loaded by that, and it's known that some LA files can cause beyond Linux from scratch package failures. Remove these now. Done. And just remove the tools because we don't need it, and it's an extra gigabytes worth of space. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. Take it. Right. This is the point where if we wanted to, we could back up the system, but we won't. Watch this be the point I absolutely lose all of this footage and then instantly start crying. Before making a backup, unmount all the systems, just go through the general process. It's fine. Because I'm not touching them, it's fine. So, that's it for Chapter 7. That's it for entering the Chroot environment. This is what we'll have to look forward to for Chapter 8. Oh, that goodness. I'm not going to wither away into a dead skull, and you're. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike. Leave a comment saying why you didn't like the video. Maybe also consider clicking the subscribe button and just generally supporting. Anyway, I have been Nick. You have been amazing. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And goodbye.